Earlier this week, Garth Brooks announced that he'll be performing at an iconic location, the first ever standalone concert at the University of Notre Dame Stadium later on this year. No date yet, no details quite yet. We'll find out those later. But we welcome right now to the show this morning, Garth Brooks. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing well. So you wrap up 390 dates on the most successful North American tour in history. You go home for about 2 weeks, do everything around the house you need to do, and decide you're bored and come back out, huh?
You know what? I really wish it was like that, but here's the truth. Okay, so we celebrate this little thing called the 6 million ticket whiteout right in your backyard. And I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna go to sleep for a year. And I get a call from Rob Beckham that says, man, I know you're not ready to go out yet, but something's happening. It might make you want to go out a little early. And he said the guys from Notre Dame are looking for you. And I got to tell you, man, this is the perfect blueprint for the first page of the next chapter for us. We're real excited.
Now, how did it come together? Did some of those guys catch one of your shows when you were out, or what?
You know, they decided to open up the 100-year, stadium that Rockney built to concerts. And they're sitting around going, who do we want for our first? And I cannot believe my name was the one that came up. And, I'm sure what they're going after is the country music audience, because they know that it's the greatest audience in the planet, and these guys are going to raise hell in that stadium, have fun, and still be respectful. So it could have been probably one of a couple dozen names. I'm just lucky it was ours.
Oh, I think there's only one name that could have done that. Yeah, for 85,000 people and to kick off concerts in that legendary stadium. Did you have to run out and buy a Notre Dame jersey and learn the fight song?
No, man. As a kid, I went to Oklahoma State, so I bleed black and orange, but all my walls on Oklahoma State was Joe Montana, number 3.
Nice.
The green and gold. I mean, that was it. So this is a childhood dream for me. I'm excited. So we went up to site survey the place. You walk out on that field, and there is something unbelievably special going on in that stadium. It feels very much like the Ryman does here in Nashville. You just feel like there's a lot of help there, a lot of good vibes. And since it's a single bowl stadium, not a double-tiered one, it feels like you can reach out and touch the person that's farthest away. So it's the perfect place for concerts. And to think that they can put 90,000 people in that space, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of help and walking out on that field for the first time, we got a little special surprise for you here in just a minute. But first, let's hear All Day Long, brand new Garth Brooks on Country 97.1 Hank FM. There's Garth Brooks All Day Long on Country 97.1 Hank FM. Sounds like it came right off a 1992 jukebox, man.
I got to tell you, man, that feels so good. And everyone says that, but for me, it sounds so freaking modern. And I think the reason why is the kid that recorded engineers like 12. His name's Matt Allen. He's a great guy. But he just he said, man, this thing needs to kick. And, wow, I love how that record sounds.
Now, you're coming to Notre Dame. We don't know all the details yet. I know later this summer we'll find out all the details. But you had Lou Holtz, legendary coach from Notre Dame, at the press conference in Nashville. Of course, Newt Rockney is not available to help us out here. So, Garth, when you think of Notre Dame football, what other name comes to mind for you?
Well, for me, Joe Montana was my hero, but everybody from there, all the way up to Kyle Rudolph, with the Vikings. So they've got a ton of great players that have, come out of there and went on to do great things.
Well, let me introduce you to one, Daniel Ruettiger, otherwise known as Rudy.
Rudy!
One of the most beloved players in Notre Dame football history is on the other line with us. Garth, say hello to Rudy.
How you doing, brother? I haven't got to talk since Vegas, man. How have you been?
Yes, I've been great. Garth, I don't think you've ever asked this question, but there's a song that I love that was recorded by a friend of mine called Heaven Sent. It reminded me of me trying to get Notre Dame because I kept getting bucked off. It's that bull that no one could ride. And I don't believe it's in your recordings, but it's a great song. I just wanted to let you know that when my friend did record it, I thought, God, why hasn't Garth put that in his recordings?
Oh, man, that is sweet. That was written, Bob Doyle introduced me to a young lady when we wrote that, and it's one of the – for me, it's one of the most classic kind of bull riding songs there is. And it's kind of the world she came from. So it was pretty cool, man. She hauled a lot of that load on writing that song, so I enjoyed myself.
Now, Garth is very busy this morning, so we don't have a whole lot of time with him. Rudy, we're going to talk a little more with you in just a minute, but can you give Garth some advice on how to get carried off the field on others' shoulders?
I believe Garth has that down. He really does. Rusty Jones and I followed the band down the tunnel when Notre Dame played Tennessee, right, and we're right behind the Notre Dame banner. I looked over to Rusty, and tears were just streaming down his eyes. That was a special moment, Garth.
I got to tell you, man, those guys have been our guys since day one. We've all worked together for over 20 years, and every time we get together, they talk about that story and how sweet you were to them, Rudy. And I thank you very much. This is an honor, and I'm looking forward to. My whole goal is to keep that tradition and that honor up for Notre Dame. I hope we represent well in there.
Well, hopefully there'll be a ticket for Rudy at the box office for the show whenever we find out when it is. Garth, we'll talk to you more as we get closer to that show when we have more details, but thank you so much for your time this morning.
You kidding me? Thank you, guys. I look forward to this. Have a great morning.
All right, take care. There's Garth Brooks, and on the other line, as I mentioned, Rudy, Daniel Ruettiger. Thank you so much for getting up early and being with us. And how have you been? I haven't seen you in a number of years myself.
Yeah, it's been great. We're re-releasing the movie Rudy in October, Sony Pictures.
Really?
And we're going to put it back in the theaters, and we're really excited about that. And I'm going to do a Broadway show October 15th in New York, one-man show. We did it in Las Vegas. It was a success. Now we're going to Broadway.
Wow.
So we're excited about that.
Now, you are a motivational speaker, and you do a lot of one-man talks and things like that, but this is actually going to be a Broadway show. Do you have designs to maybe take it in a larger arena? We'll
see. We'll see how it responds in New York, and we'll go from there, but we're really excited we're getting that opportunity.
Well, now, are they digitally remastering the movie when you release it or anything like that?
We're doing a couple new things. I think I'm going to Chicago next week to do a recording with Sean and I. I have a movie critic there ask us questions about the movie and make that part of the movie. So we're really excited about the fact that they're even going to release this movie. 25 years it's been.
Wow,
25 years.
That's hard to believe. It's such an iconic movie, and you are an icon of Notre Dame football, and I hope you have a chance whenever, as I mentioned to Garth, we don't know when the show is going to be yet at Notre Dame Stadium, but hopefully when it happens, you'll be able to attend.
Absolutely. I hope it does. I hope Garth remembers that Rudy's bigger than Joe Montana. Ha, ha.
That is great. Well, Rudy, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we look forward to seeing you in the future, all right?
Have a great one, Dave. Bye.
Daniel Ruettiger, the real guy. I had no idea when we surprised Garth that they already knew each other.
How about that?
I had no idea. I don't know what Rudy was talking about with a song that the Heaven Sent song that Garth wrote many, many years ago.
It was interesting because they went ahead and did their own thing. It was like we weren't even here. I was like, all right, hey, I'm good with that.
All right, there you go. Garth Brooks, always a pleasure to speak with him. And Rudy